Hello. I thought I will make this video to clarify a few points of reference or a frame of reference from where um, I have been making those videos in the past few days. Yeah, at least the previous one, or I am these days making the videos from, so to speak. So so every person is in different stages of learning, and I have been saying since some time that people seem to be going to that direction, and I'm coming from there. Yeah. So people are talking in terms of nirvana, going beyond, yeah, the limitations, um, or rather, um, to come to mm, a state of singularity. Yeah, or what is Advaita, or what is I think the homunculus, or in terms of the yoga, where disparate different aspects are coming together into one unified. It's not a theory. Okay, some people call it as a theory of everything, but okay, we call it okay. In that sense, what is theory? Theory is like if I'm bringing it up in nice, yeah, th as in uh fourth, fifth degree of becoming, yeah, th theo. Okay, let's just say your understanding, you could say theosophy, or okay, let's just say degree of becoming better, and there's an energy to it. And then O, the O is towards becoming wholesomer, and R is in Rigveda, as in standing up from there, yeah, or that which arises from that place of becoming better, has an energy to it, becoming um, better to a wholesomer place, and standing up from there, that which arises from there. With a why theory, a why for doing all of this, for this being and becoming. Yeah. So theory of everything. So that continuous being and becoming in degrees of becoming better towards with an energy, there's an energy to it, and there's a wholesomization to it. Degree of becoming wholesomer, that which arises from there with a why for it. It's like um, tail on fire, rocket on fire. Yeah. Okay, rocket's tail on fire. Yeah. That then gives the rocket a direction. Yeah. So you're doing something, you're waking up in the morning, you're doing things for a purpose. So several people are working towards coming to what I have been doing since some time. For example, they've been talking in terms of nothing. Yeah. And these are even spiritual enthusiasts of quite some repute. Yeah. And I've been saying I've been facilitating health clinically since some time, and from a state of nothing, yeah, or a balanced way of being. But the thing is, how I've been doing it, I have been seeing health showing up in a way that I was not able to see or come to appreciation, understanding. I didn't see any of this when I was being a student. So I had to name this differently because um, the method was slightly different. I was doing lesser, but in a with better understanding. It's like, a glass of water. You put it different ingredients, it becomes informed water, yeah, so to speak. So I was functioning from since graduation, what I have been learning from different fields of work. So all of that included becomes uh, from so students are encouraged to inquire and then come to better understanding and then share from there. Yeah. So this has been my understanding. If I call it the same name, the approach is slightly different, but it is still BCST. The approach is slightly different. Um, it's I was finding it more profounder because health facilitators are not talking in terms of this, and I was seeing causes conditions for what gives rise to WHO's global list of diseases. And over time, I came to seeing that, mythology, um, growth from these perspectives, and what they're calling as Samudramanthan, where Parvati was converting the Visha in the matter, the bitter in the matter, to life and limiting substance. And I was noticing this happening in people who come for sessions because they were showing up in ways where I was saying my definition of what was happening in the health facilitation practice space is that when they find those conditions by which um, their being and becoming becomes better, or they find that substance from which to become better, then they just grow like a tree or like a seed, which when finds the right food, it just grows. Yeah. So I was finding these people are showing up like that regularly. And I was noticing entrepreneurs. Yeah, I'm seeing patterns like that. So I had to say about what I'm noticing all of this. So I started speaking about my work, and then I discovered they are not health facilitators, and maybe I haven't found spoken to many health facilitators. But the one several fields, homeopathy, allopathy, Ayurveda, um, I haven't spoken to anybody facilitating Unani, but I've heard about them, read about them a little bit. Yoga facilitators. I haven't been hearing people talking in terms of this, but the Bible refers to Mother Mary and then resurrection of Christ, and I was saying this is all very true about that one there. So I had to speak in terms of what I'm seeing, and then they're talking about the ninth Hanukkah candle, where they're saying hope is what emerged when that came last from the when Pandora's box was opened. And I'm thinking I'm doing all of this stuff. So I got to speak this because it occurred to me that maybe people are waiting for um, a newer understanding of how we have been seeing things. And I'm seeing this. So if I also don't speak, yeah, then there is not this understanding, but I also need to say that I'm also learning. But so I came to saying that, people are coming to this side and I'm coming from that side with this understanding. And why I'm also saying this is there is this reference to um, Tantra or the Sri Vidya tradition. If you're talking in terms of, oh, okay, there's Madhyama, there's Samaya, um, Kaula, uh, Madhyama, and Madhyama, Kaula, Madhyama, and Samaya. Yeah, where Kaula, when I looked at the matter, um, I understand is, for example, there are objects, there are things, and there is, say, yantras or instruments. Yeah. There could also be chants, for example. There's a positive affirmation. That would be more, a little more, I think, a little more madhyama, where there is chants, but not necessarily. Okay, so kaula would be more apparently with things. Yeah, but things also didn't just form overnight. A chair didn't form or it didn't just drop out of the sky. There is a tradition by how a chair formed. Yeah. And when you honor the tradition, that which is available from that tradition is then available for you to do the right things. Yeah. If you don't know where it's coming from and you do things anyhow, that would not lead to you, people around you, what you're working with, becoming as better as should be when you're using things the right way. So when you regard things as teachers, then they are informing you there. Yeah. So even though they are formed, they have a certain teaching already. It's incorporated. Yeah. Um, so they're being silent teachers. Yeah. And you could, when you honor objects as teachers, then objects then honor you and your life. Yeah. Or in the sense that the objects as a teacher, the tradition that's there from the object honors you and your life. What you respect or respects you and your life that way. Yeah. Respect, honor, dignity. Then there is Madhyama. Okay, let's just say Kaula. I will go into my ease about this. But for now, for this topic, I'm just trying to not have a very lengthy video here. I'm trying to speak in small little ones. So I'm learning to teach it. So I'm not feeding a lot of stuff. Yeah. Especially since I'm not talking to anybody particularly, I'm speaking to the screen and I have no understanding how is this being appreciated, how much this may be more or less, or I'm not making any sense. So, if any of this I should know from the comments or from people talking about this or talking to me. So I'm just going to try and make it smaller. But okay, Kaula, and then Madhyama. So it's like, there's a heading, there's a subheading, and many, many small, yeah, little accordingly. So there is a better understanding. So I will just stay with the Kaula Madhyama, Samaya, as in okay topic. Yeah. Subtopic of Sri Vidya, there are three traditions. Let's just talk in terms of this, like health, wealth, wisdom. Yeah, related. All the three are related. You could have health, but without wealth or wisdom, health becomes okay. Yeah. So wealth is there, but without health and wisdom, then wealth is okay. Yeah. Um, Similarly, wisdom. You could have wisdom, but without health or wealth. Yeah. So I had to complete the thought line. Maybe I'm getting a little obsessive here, but I'm trying to get a grip. When you have a grip on the matter, then from there we can make things better. Then okay. Madhyama is where it is not just object based, but it could also have a little soft. It's like hardware, software, a fine little something, yeah, where there could be chants and mantras. There is also chants and mantras, I think, but then it's like they are formed in Kaula. I think there is more, um, like you're saying, chair. It's a definite, defined word, given that you don't look at a chair and call it a table. It's that obvious that this is not that. Yeah. So that's my understanding of it here. Um, then Madhyama would be, say, there is a soft about it. So you're talking about objects, but there is also another aspect to it. Or it's in between. Maybe I'm thinking very concretely right now here, but um, um, there is a balance between the Samaya and the Kaula. Object based and Samaya is not tangible. Yeah, it's more like the intangible world heritage. Um, there is the idea of subject and object, which is just as much firm. It could be in our belief systems. It could be truths from which we function. Yeah. It could also be concepts that we've held so true since so long that there is no doubt about it, like God. Yeah. Yeah. And we have our own ideas of what God is, or Sanatana Dharma, for example, our idea of it. Different people have different ideas of what Sanatana Dharma is. It may also be other than that, but we have firmed up on what that is. So we're kind of standing on a land, on a country that functions by the math of this. This is how it is. And that is also timed. So if you kind of look at that word, you could trace back on where that comes from. Yeah. And our economy could be functioning from this is true, has been true across time and space. It works, doesn't work, but this is more true than not. And we also have, for example, our idea of what is health. While we are all at different stages of becoming healthier, in the sense health of wealth, health of wisdom, health of life, uh, we may even be calling it as quality. Health may also be being called as quality while we are working with quantity. Yeah, we also are seeing quantity, but then we are quite concerned about the health of quantity, or rather the quality of quantity. In some words, about the health of the matter. And we would like things to last long and then, functioning as it is supposed to. We were calling it as quality. Now, having said that, the hard problem of consciousness is also talking in terms of the qualia, the quality, qualia. Kind of, let's just say quality, or the that which offers quality a quality would be qualia. Yeah? Or that all that which gives quality a certain quality would be qualia. In terms of Plato's theory of forms, the whiteness of white that makes milk, that gives our idea of milk as white. Now, everything that is white is not milk. Teeth is also white, but teeth is not milk. Yeah, but similarly, the so whiteness is a quality that is there in milk and teeth. That is teeth which is white, yeah, or paper which is white. And then paper is not only made of whiteness; it also has a certain texture. It also has a certain dimension. It's a two-dimensional object, yeah. Milk is more fluid, yeah, it's more liquid, and has a certain viscosity. So the texture of paper and milk is different. So qualia is, or in terms of Plato's theory of forms, those qualities which may be then similar um, qualities or objects of having this quality, but not necessarily in every. Yeah. So theory of form says a form, like a paper, is a set of qualia, set of forms, like tiny forms. Whiteness, if I'm talking in terms of paper, there's whiteness, there's texture, a particular kind of texture, dimension, and several other factors. For example, um, it may be biodegradable or not. Yeah. It could be so similar such qualities. Several forms together form a form. They make a form. Artificial intelligence, for example, would be attempting to arrive at that original form. Yeah. For example, there's this idea of um, the truth that is beyond any other truth. Okay, so to speak, that is so true that it is never false. Yeah. So that would also be a certain sense of conscience. Yeah. Uh, you can talk at it from many, many angles and it's still standing true. Yeah. That way. Okay. So artificial intelligence would be, for example, you're asking a question and then it's hallucinating. You're asking a person. So in that sense, artificial intelligence would be more conceptualized. We are working, interacting with something which has been there in general conversation. For example, a person, when they are learning something well enough, when you're asking them questions, they won't go, yeah, into hallucinatory, yeah, or imagining the answers. That would also be, in some sense, hallucinating an answer. Prompt would be, okay, and then next, yeah, and then goes, and then this happened, and then I went there, they spoke to me this, and then next, yeah. So it's also like a prompt, yeah. That sense, um, so uh, you could learn, and then there is having grown up well enough to what I'm calling as original human intelligence. Original, but when I just say only original, say when I entered that into Google, it was giving quite very interesting ideas of what is original intelligence, which means it could also be destructive, which means the understanding of original itself is other than what it needs to be. So I had to then slowly, to bring clarity, I had to add the idea original humane intelligence. Yeah. And then original, hmm, there's this idea of romantic, yeah, romantic originality, which has been mentioned. There is one mention in a JSTOR paper. Yeah. Um, that's how I read it. I got, yeah, that's the whole paper. JSTOR. Um, there's mention of romantic originality. And then I was thinking, this is more closer to what I mean. Yeah, more closer. But there's several details about it. You could write ballads about it. Yeah, and you could go a little, yeah, a little, yeah, sticky geeky. Yeah. So what's the appropriate romantic originality? Yeah, whether it going boy maudlin. Yeah. So, that is still more closer to this. So over time, I came to discover that love is a technology, has a role to play in the whole scheme of things, and love has been quite a killer. From not understanding what is the function of love in the whole scheme of things. Yeah, like we have internet, and if you're not using internet for the right reason, then not so, yeah, very good. Similarly, love has a role to play in the whole scheme of things, it needs to be learned. And I came to also love as an incorporation technology, and how to keep things together, bring things together, and um, love heals wounds over time. So when there is fragmentation of our understanding of things, how they bring things together, and then this matches with this, but something more is needed, then you kind of wait, and then when the right information is there, so that also gives you that patience and etc. So in that sense, I'm talking about parts of the puzzle. Samaya could also be like parts of the puzzle, or different words, different concepts that we have arrived at over time, but are yet to maybe talk to each other and arrive at a better wholesome. So, in that sense, I look at we're all in different stages of artificial intelligence. Yeah. So, I'm facilitating original human intelligence in a world functioning by artificial intelligence. Yeah. And we have WHO's global list of diseases, which is also talking about there are different problems we are yet to address. Yeah. So, which is why I've been saying people seem to be going that side, and I'm like coming from that side. So this is like almighty dotting, come up with a solution, because it was time for the solution to come, or it's more like when did the chicken come, or the chicken came first or egg came first? It was time for the chicken and egg to come. So they came from many, many sources in their own little ways, and over time became the chicken and egg. They didn't just form overnight. So there has been this happening developments in some time. For example, there's this reference to Mother Mary, yeah, original. Then there's this idea of immaculate, yeah, this idea of light, yeah. Um, there is this idea of light of love, yeah. And then there's this idea of um, Antima Naga, yeah. There's a temple, yeah, in middle South India, yeah. Um, there's this idea of Raya and the Last Dragon, the movie Raya and the Last Dragon. There's this reference to Shishu, like Shishu, dragon, was sleeping in at the end of the river of life, yeah, which is also like referring to the Kundalini, yeah, coiled at the bottom of the spine, yeah. So it could also be seen as a notochord, you're moving through the spine, yeah, present since birth of a baby, yeah. So kind of coiled, and it's when so Shishu, yeah. And then Adi Shankaracharya has also been called as Dravida Shishu, Dravida Shishu, like Dravya, elements. So there has been this idea of the homunculus, little human, idea, iPhone. They've all been talking about the little I with a dot. Yeah. So there have been. So where did I come from? My idea over time, I've been looking at this dot and that dot, and arriving at we are looking at things a little higgledy piggledy. Yeah. So how did I come to be here? I happen to be looking at things in a particular way. Different people are looking at things in different their own particular ways. Um, and there have been reference to Mera time aayega. Yeah, my time will come. I happen to be the having coming with the enterprise with me and my things. Yeah, because what I wanted to be when become happy. Different people are saying, "What do you want to be when you become big, grown up, successful, money, happy?" I was thinking it would be nice to be just me. Yeah, figuring out me and my stuff, and that will be nice enough. Yeah, or well, it would be nice to just be me. I'm maintaining being me, and not just Gumpnal Govinda. Yeah, there's also the idea of Kumbh Mela. Yeah, not just get lost in all of this. So I over time I came to lost and found. Yeah, and then I discovered that's also like pulse lavage. Yeah, ding 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 ding. And then to keep it together, you keep running out. It's like rasam on a South Indian plate, yeah, leaf plate, where if you got to manage the rasam, the liquid, otherwise it'll run out. Yeah. So you got to keep managing and keeping it there. So you say lost and found. Then I discovered there is 0, 0 to 9, and then again 10. That 10 needs to be back inside the plate. Yeah. Whew. Guess how long it took for me to figure that out. Yeah. Or rather for me to tell about this. Yeah. Okay, this video this long I'm turtled here. Yeah. So I'm also in the figuring out on how better to say what I'm talking about. I've been calling it as nothing, then calling it as um original human intelligence facilitation. So the order is slightly reversed from how people have been understanding many things. And it's not a bad thing. Yeah. But how do you tell people that you're not used to seeing things like this? Yeah, you're seeing your construct of God, reality is a little upside down. Yeah, you're not seeing things the way they need to be seen, and consequently, you're facing hallucinations. Yeah, from not don't know to see from here, from left to right or right to left. I discovered there is left to right, right and right to left. There's also front and back and front, back to front. There's also up to down and down to up and down to up and up to down. Yeah. They're not the same thing. You would think if this is there, that is also there. Then you discover this is true, but there is a different vector too. Then you go like, wow, interesting. Then there's also in to out and out to in. Yeah. So there are different directions that we need to be paying attention to. And then, yeah, lifelong learning. Because different, um, the perspective from where you look at the matter, you could even see over time a sphere, but the sphere is not clear because it needs further appreciation of the matter. It's like you could say diamond has many angles. So depending on which angle you're looking at it, it could shine and then say, oh, I found it. You didn't. You're blinded by an aspect, a reflection of the matter. But that is from, for example, that it being cookied in such a way that it's been regarded as true. And then you're bouncing off of it, and now I came to a truth. That's an aspect of the truth, and that's a truth. Swami Vivekananda says there are 1,000 um, versions of the truth, and every version is a version of the truth. If, if you're going to disregard that, you're losing that too. Keep it together, and then one grain sand, it's like one brick and another brick and another brick. Over time, the house forms, and then you would see, is this brick all true? Yeah, or does it need something better? That's how the house becomes better. Your construct of reality becomes better, and you live in this memory palace. You live in the constructs by which you live your life. Your construct of reality is also by brick, putting together truths after discerning the rice from the chaff. Now, this is true, this is false. So, this is more true, and consequently, you live by it. And truth has a certain quality to it. It needs to make your life, people around you, and future generations better, and their generations too. And also, people who haven't even thought about being born yet. And they don't even know but yeah, they also becoming better. So that takes a little more finer um, coming together of ingredients. Yeah, finer matter. You got to look at you're not breaking things up. You're arriving at there is a finer without breaking things up. When you break, the whole is more than some of its parts. So if you're going to break it, you are not going to be able to appreciate how they are related. It's in their relationships that you come to, there is something finer from here. And you don't have to break it to arrive at that finer. It's already there in the logic of it. It's already there in the make of it. Then you arrive at that. That's also called as divination. Instead of dividation, divination. You're going into the matter. Yeah, not divide, tishku. No, they bring it together, and then there is something further from there. Yeah, it's more like zoom in, but it's not like no, because the matter will get scared, yeah, and it could go no. I'm referring to this movie Flubber, yeah, where when Flubber comes out of the pot, when Robin Williams first encounters Flubber, he looks at him and goes, quack. because of surprise. Yeah, or maybe that was a tree. So, and you don't just deal with things. Yeah, kids, you watch them. Your own self can learn, appreciate the matter, and not just go particle building. So that's been one of my concerns with CERN. Yeah, they go pelting particles. Who and I've been thinking Earth has been taking these particles, yeah, and like a donkey, putting it together and making better content out of it. That is, of course, everybody's watching. What in the world are you eating? It's like a kid eating. What's going in and what is happening out of it? That's accordingly how mommy life, yeah, working. And there are many kinds of particles. We were well many particles. Over time, they kind of come into their own gravitas and form planets. And we have many planets in different shapes and sizes, out of which Earth is also a planet. And then has been taking these particles, eating food, and making something out of it. So like, okay, this one is behaving like that one. Yeah. What will you do with this one? Okay, that's how I came on Earth. Boy, we're all stardust, no? Or stardust, galaxy dust, universe dust, dust. That's how different people also got, yeah, on Earth. We say avatars, sky people on came to Pandora, and there's this idea. And then now what? And then also, what will the dust do, being on such a immaculate, beautiful ball, yeah, place? Mommy life is always okay, ball. Yeah, we're all oddballs in one family. Yeah, like solar system family. We're different people under the same roof, on the same planet, and all functioning in our own unique ways. So then we're all our own avatars. Yeah, it's more like are we over time becoming a human being? A person who will then and live in life in the multiverse. That's also called yoga. So we are all time capsules, so to speak. Yeah. A bot, like artificial intelligence, a bot. Until you discover you could just be functioning by your own tick, 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 tick. Yeah, bot. Feed this, you're going to keep doing according to what has been fed. Or over time, you digest the matter and then you come to pot. You cook the matter, you cook the information over time, come to pot. And then over time, you become a dot, like the pale blue dot, Earth. Yeah. And then we have lots of dots here. Yeah. And you connect the dots, and then how the dots are interacting, related with each other. So you also come to solar system. We have Milky Way galaxy. We have several dots. When you peer at them, you say, that's not a star. Yeah, you say that's a galaxy. Or you say that's a cluster of galaxies. Only when you look at the matter, you will see what it is for. Sometimes you're only going by the shiny, shiny stuff. What is twinkly? Whatever the stuff you can't see. You call it as dark matter. Yeah, and you don't know how to look at them. And then you call about light photon and are still considering about dark photon. Yeah, maybe you don't know how to look at it. We also call it as positive and negative. Yeah, so both needs appreciation. Yeah, otherwise our understanding of the matter is incomplete. We have a lopsided bomb. We see one side of the equation, but not the other. It's also called pros and cons. And consequently, a construct of reality is very interesting. Yeah, we have the Hatha yoga, light and the dark, but we have ideas about what is positive and what is negative. Positive is encouraged, negative is to be shoo, excluded or kept away, go away, chase away. Jesus was put on the cross for chasing away the devil. Yeah, I've been looking at both sides of the matter, and I've been integrating it. I have an infinity model. Yeah, unlearn, learn, relearn, learn, unlearn. So it infinitely keeps going. We also have so such integrative matters. Like I discovered when you're, I want to say this, but I also found, for example, okay, I won't tell about it. You, for example, you can make nice recipes when you combine two ingredients together in a particular manner. The taste becomes different, slightly different by how you integrate two things. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's also like chemistry. Yeah, but this is more finer. That's also called yoga. When two things are brought together in a fine manner, something better emerges. It's like Vesica Pisces. One hole, another hole, come together, another or third hole. Yeah, that's also called the third eye. Yeah, you see things from the third eye. What's that for? You got to first see masculine, feminine first. And then you got to see what is human, which is formed from the masculine and feminine. And the human has the masculine and feminine. They're complementary partners. Yeah. And you have many. That's also called the divine feminine, divine masculine. That is when you see we have males, females, children, yeah, seniors, from the male or female or combination, but masculine, feminine, matter, energy, and in many, many combinations. And then when you see there is, it's like forms. There are forms of masculine, feminine, basically, or a combination of them. We have a spectrum. And then when you kind of arrive at divine feminine, masculine, divine feminine being, there are several forms of feminine, and this is feminine, and this is masculine, from several forms of masculine, different variety, but they're basically two types. Yeah. And then you see how these two are actually related. They're complementary partners, like nature, nurture, yeah, matter, energy. Yeah. And then you arrive at there is Advaita, there's other than that, where they are together, like me, matter plus energy composition. Yeah. You can also point at yourselves, say me. Yeah. So, which is a human body formed like from masculine and feminine, nature and nurture, that way. So we have had a difficulty looking at our own self in these ways. So we may be being one amongst the whole, yeah, and not quite got in the matter. And consequently, we face challenges in how do I matter? Yeah, I'm one among the whole thing, but don't really know what role do you play in the whole scheme of things. You don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. Yeah, you don't know where you are, what you are, why you've come for you. You may have your apparently your everything, but don't have your theory in the sense why are you here, where are you headed, what stage of becoming better are you in? Do you have an energy about it, or is it like is it destructive or is it constructive? What's the energy of it? Yeah, if you don't know that, and then you're function, you will be causing more trouble than value. Yeah, going in the direction you need to be going. So you need to identify your energy about it. Yeah. So that would also be like a winner versus drama triad. Yeah. Um, um, there needs to be fine balance between um, creation, preservation, destruction. And there needs to be a why for it, like theory, why. The why needs to be towards becoming better, making you, contemporaries, future generations, their generation, everybody becomes better from what you are doing. So you could have the creative energy or destructive energy. But if the overall is not becoming better, um, your ass from a hole in the ground. Yeah. You're kind of like, put in that place, there, sit there, work on the matter. That's how human beings have been on the same planet Earth while people have been working towards becoming multiplanetary species. Yeah. Our ass from a hole in the ground. For example, we haven't discovered we have WHO's global list of diseases. We have several such concerns already on planet Earth. And we would like to form colonies on other planets. Yeah. How must Almighty dotting, like an organization, yeah, who is a for-profit organization, and watching these kinds of behaviors of the employees, yeah, different, very interesting. Yeah, we still don't know how to go beyond violence. Yeah, don't know how to take care of our own human body without needing instruments. Okay, I'm working on that. That's my discovery on how to improve health without needing surgical instruments, etc., or lab tests, different things. Yeah. So my thought lines formed over time from there, without using things, medicines, lab tests, um, and several such, and even our idea of God. We don't know which way to go. Yeah, what is the phases of life? Which direction is health? What is health? So lots of thought lines there. So I'm coming from with the solutions. Okay. working on improving the solutions, but it is healthy. While we are different people are still thinking about what is healthy. Yeah. So this is like elixir of life. Yeah, and improving the content of the elixir of life. So it is uh, those who are participating in the meal will then say, this is there, this is not there. We can work on that further. And then we will all get healthy, wealthy wise. Yeah. So whether you're sur or asur, yeah, light photon, dark photon, have libidinous or distridness tendencies, let's talk. Yeah. Then you'll discover which is which and how much of which do you have, because everybody needs to have creation, preservation, destruction, and then it's which direction do you need to go. So we got lots of inquiries to contemplate on the matter, because each of us is like a galaxy or a planet or a stardust. At least we are stardust. Yeah. Or dust. घर की लक्ष्मी धूल जैसी. They could be a dust. You don't even know you're a stardust or what. Just another thing there. Yeah. But until you actually, that's not just a thing. Yeah. Like zoom, zoom, zoom. What are you talking about now? What you think it is? And if you actually look at them, they will actually go doing. Yeah. Because of how you're looking at it. If you don't respect, honor, and dignify what you're appreciating, they will not respect, honor, dignify you. Yeah. They will just protect themselves. How in the world are you looking at? Yeah. So you can't really say disgusting because there is not such an expression. They are such a fine form. They won't have such words. They just good, nice people. Okay. Good is also a definition. Okay. All kinds of people. Yeah. All right. On that matter, so you have a little idea of Samaya, Madhyama, and Kaula. And I'm in different stages of substantiating my matter. So health is better appreciated. And I keep going into I'm not good enough. I'm there. I keep looking into the matter. There is more matter showing up. Yeah. So health is like in kind of like an ocean. And people have been looking at the ocean from the salty water. Now I'm looking at fresh water. Beautiful. So there is zoom, zoom, zoom. So I'm talking here. So I'm still improving the matter. Yeah. But it's better to engage in this conversation. And over time, we all work on improving the matter because we all will then become healthy, wealthy, wise and not continue to be in the same place dealing with our different kinds of sickness or challenges or me versus you, drama and artificial intelligence, hallucinations. Now, I'm in a doomsday, excuse the expression, doomsday thoughts. When you're going to keep bouncing off of those vectors, then you're going to, oh my goodness, yeah, not like that. There is also keep it together, and there's also called exaggeration. You could, rake up hard. How much of fire is going on here? Yeah, so we need to kind of work on our fire because what we are boiling, functioning by, oh my goodness. Okay, I will start working in terms of earth, water, no, fire, cool, how to manage your fire such that you're contemplating on the matter sufficiently enough. Fire has been showing up since some time, so I might as well just talk in terms of that. So I will then make further conversation about it. We'll all cook a little bit, yeah, in fine fire. So we are able to contemplate on the matter, appreciate this and that, setting the world on fire. But this is good, nice little cook, beautiful little. So this is like there's this movie Ratatouille, yeah, where Remy um, sanitizes all the other rats such that they're ready to cook. Yeah, so Tattva Shuddhi, they say. So I don't know about that one, but okay, it's steam. Steam water. Yeah. So we will raise the heat a little bit. Pyas put up. Okay. And then that'll get better. Yeah. Nice, fine dishes we all love. Okay. So what's coming out of our mouth will be more finer. And I'm going to cool this versus that, 6 versus 9. I'm seeing from this side, I'm seeing from this side. Yeah. Or one is not seeing from the other side. The other side also needs to be seen in particular composition. And then you'll be able to appreciate this is there, we are actually seeing two sides, two aspects of one whole. This one needs to form a four. Okay, that's something there. Okay. So then we'll have to then talk in terms of what forms need to be there for a form to become form. Otherwise, you're having partial matter. Oh, so we'll have to discuss in terms of that. So the Ashta Lakshmi in the sense, okay, what needs to be there for something to have arrived at or a certain level of the problem or identification of what the matter is. Otherwise, you don't even know you're dealing with a partial information, partial wholeness of the matter. And then, for example, one of the things is you go into either rescuer, victim, perpetrator, rescuer dynamics. Yeah, that could be talking about the matter is not so whole as it needs to be. Or you could go into vulnerability, caring, assertiveness. That also could be a form of partial because you are not ready to look at the drama and the winner appreciatively. You're seeing all vulnerable, caring, and assertive, but not able to see the victim, perpetrator, rescuer. Or the victim, perpetrator, rescuer is not able to see the vulnerability, caring, assertiveness. What is being said, what is being vulnerable, what is being caring. There are pros and cons to every situation. If that S link is not being arrived at, and then you're not seeing at how one has solutions for the other, one has problems for the other. This could, yeah. So there is that fine detail. So, and then what needs to be done to heal the matter is also different levels of love. So, how does love show up? What are the forms? What are the identifiers of healing love or the love that heals? And what is the form for it? Yeah, that needs to be then identified. So we're coming to unlearn, learn, relearn, learn. It's all about learn there. Life is, I'm learning this from HCFC Life, um, where I'm an associate, um, agency life, working and learning on that. Life is learn, interact, felicitate, engage. Yeah, I'm still learning about all of these aspects, but I've come to learn. Yeah, that's also part of my thinking process. You're wholesomizing thinking when you come to tonking, because you're thinking from the whole. Just introduced a new word. There are no accidents in life, but there is a lack of perspective. Yeah, there are no accidents in life. Sigmund Freud. Yeah, yeah. Pay attention because that's also happening in the conscious, subconscious, unconscious, or superconscious. So okay, tonking. Now, so different people have different words. So I have unlearn, learn, relearn, learn. So the learn is there. So life on, yeah. So right. So I will pause here. I hope this video, this content, ideas gives you pause for thought to maintain a book or something. Yeah. Uh, by which you can kind of note down your own understandings of them, and over time the connection, the dots will connect, or the connections will dot. You've made several connections, and which of them is to be dotted, and which is you know signal versus noise. It's not just about my signal versus noise. It's about you eat food. Yeah, you listen to different kinds of truth. But unless you are digesting on the matter and arriving at a better and you are arriving at a better understanding, it is just truth out there. It is not your truth. It is not something that you understand and then you say, now this is over time you may not be able to recognize who actually said that. But it would be like a dish that forms with several ingredients together, then forms a dish. So you wouldn't be arriving at your own version of the truth. And then you can see, okay, this is true. There's some more. Okay, this is there. This is not there. So either maybe you will bounce off of what I'm saying, or maybe you'll bounce off of somebody else. She's saying that too. Different version. So you'll arrive at a version of truth, then slowly becomes a better version over time. But it's important to arrive at your version, for which you need to identify the dots in the connections you've made, the different relationships you've made. And then over time, Earth didn't form overnight. Earth formed overnight, yeah. In somebody's understanding of the matter, yeah. Because the particles have always been there. And then it's like it was just a time for they just came together. And now what? There's better understanding. We all are living in our own version of Earth, in our own Earth version of Earth. And then there is the truth of the matter, yeah, or the essence of the matter, or the becoming, or the betterment of the matter. So you don't know how much of bitters there is or not, yeah. And then arriving at better, and then the substance of the matter, yeah. What a beautiful Earth we are on now. Okay, we are living in our own versions of Earth, and my version of Earth is all healthy, wealthy wise, and beautiful. I'm not just imagining it up. I also see there are WHO's global list of diseases. But I also see that and then know there is other than that that needs to be worked with and then can be worked with, can be made better. And then we can also live life in the multiverse. Because there's a logic behind all of that I'm saying. There's a science to it. I call that science maelstrom intelligence. And we have 4 verticals. Breathe, heal, love, live. By 4 brand names. Okay. 4 brand names in 10 trademarks. Yeah, and 2 logos, 2 more on the way. Yeah, and some more. Yeah, so new dishes. Yeah, for example, there is my movements and me sick and my eats and many fine details. Yeah, you got to see how are all these related. Otherwise, you don't know where Earth came from, where on Earth came from, where I came from. Yeah, I'm on Earth. And hope and beautiful light and all healthy, wealthy wise. And people have been talking in terms of nirvana and liberation from life. Don't know which side to go. So I'm like, this is the way, people. This is the way. So me light. Yeah, to have my light shine well enough. So people are thinking, oh, this is what I've been looking for. Yeah. So we are forming it up and forming it up here. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And then you go twinkle, twinkle, little star. Oh, I wonder what you are. This wonder is not just about, oh, wonder, but you actually find answers. Yeah. Or you find your questions by which to then find answers to what you didn't know you're dealing with. That would also be there. Yeah. Okay. Keep shining. Because I've heard there are some people wondering what questions to ask. Because maybe my visibility has not been clear enough to then over time there are these. And then you will arrive at what have you been working on? Yeah, in your conscious, subconscious, unconscious, supraconscious, subconscious, unconscious is what I think it is. Supraconscious, not there yet. Yeah, okay. Something is simmering underneath. Okay, so I will pause for now. Thank you so much for your kind interest. Good day.